Hello, I'm John Weiser, and here on Wheelie Good Tips, we're going to talk wheelchair basketball this week. I've been in a wheelchair now coming up 35 years. For the last 15 to 20 years, I've finally got into a wee bit of sport. I play wheelchair basketball, and it is a sport I absolutely love. It's one of the sports that is a truly professional disabled sport overseas, and that's what I love about it, is that you can have a career path. You can either be a good sports basketballer, you can go into coaching. It's not just the sport. We don't talk about our disabilities, we talk about our abilities and what we can do. It's a place where you just feel normal, and I always encourage new people, you don't have to get into the sport and play it at 100%. You could just come here just for the social outlet. But it's just, like I said, it's more than just the sport. I think people don't realise when they've had an accident, it's like you're living in this massive cloud, and we've all been there. It's very hard to see through it. But one of the aspects I found really early on is getting involved in a group, whether it's a sporting group, an organisation, and just sharing. I guess it's like you're just sharing your experiences. You know, it'd be like going to counselling, but it's not, because you're around a group of people that you sort of know a little bit about. So it's a wonderful sport.
How long have you been playing for?
I've been playing on and off for probably about 10 years now. Yeah, I've played for Waikato, Dunedin, and now the Canterbury boys. Yeah, it's pretty fun sport. Yeah, I've been loving it every time I play it. Just need to get fitter and back into it.
Basically, to really get into a wheelchair basketball or any type of sport like this, obviously there's a lot of equipment, you know, there's a sports chair, but we do not expect anyone to just turn up and have to pay out for a chair. So what we would do is we'd encourage you to turn up, and if you're keen to have a go, we have spare chairs. So we normally get you in, give you an opportunity, and if you're committed and you enjoy what you do, then we'll go down the process later on of purchasing a chair, because one thing about learning the sport is as you get better, everything changes. Your chair needs to change, so generally we'll start you off on a fully adjustable chair, and as your skills get better, we adjust that chair. The rules of wheelchair basketball are the same as stand-up basketball. The one difference is, and there is one rule change, in stand-up basketball, you can't double dribble. So when you're playing stand-up and you stop, you have to pass. In wheelchair basketball, you can continue that. So that's the only difference. Exactly the same rules as stand-up. Just for a travel rule, like basically every 2 pushes, you basically have to bounce the ball, and that's like the travel rule. So every time we touch the rims, we've got to bounce the ball. But as you get good at playing, you just start doing it naturally. And it all comes down to a lot of practice, and a lot of practice.
What's the difference between stand-up basketball?
Just about maybe awareness of space and being in the right position and things, and not necessarily moving about. In basketball, you're always sort of like cutting, diving, making sort of like some sort of plays to try and get the sort of defender off you, but in a wheelchair you can sort of just get in a good spot and hold it off and try and like just get your arms up, and so it's different sort of awareness of how to sort of pass the ball and things, and just that fact you're able to lock down a position and take a solid shot.
Some of the key moves obviously is ball control, and it's really, really difficult. And one of the most basic things we teach people is how to pick the ball up off the ground, because see how far it is? I mean, it's way down here, look at this. Not that easy. So one of the first things I teach people is basically how to pick up a ball using the wheel of my wheelchair. And I'll show you just by using it. I'm basically just going to tap it off the wheel and use the wheel to pick it up. Bang it onto my lap and off I go. Obviously in normal basketball, you've got your forwards, your guards and your centers. We have the same thing. I'm what they call a forward, obviously. I'm one of the big guys in basketball. And we have rules for that as well. So there's only a certain height that we're allowed to maximize our chairs. So basically, the positioning you will become, what you will become in wheelchair basketball, all depends on your disability. If you've got a lot of trunk function, you can sit up tall like me. If you're a high break power, like some people are in, like a T4, you will sit low as a guard. So it really, that defines the position you're going to play on the court, and then you just get good at it. We have a point structure obviously. So there's 5 people on the court at once. We have a maximum of 14 points, and everybody has an individual point score depending on your disability. It starts off as a 1, which is a high break para, someone who's going to sit down on his guard, and the highest points you can have is a 4.5. Generally a below the knee amputee or something like that is a high pointer. So when you've got to make up the numbers of those 5 players that have to come under 14 points, and that keeps the teams balanced. If we didn't have that, you would have an unfair advantage on all teams.
Well, this is my second game ever.
And what do you like about it?
The fitness side of it. Getting a bit lazy and complacent at home, doing not much. And Curtis said, come give it a go. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. Yeah.
Obviously, I come from stand-up basketball, and all your power in stand-up basketball comes from your legs to your trunk. Now, obviously, sitting in a chair, you don't have that ability to use it, so technique is absolutely everything. It's exactly the same technique as you would if you were stand-up, but it's even more important, and not only more important, you have to have your balance correct, because as soon as you go off balance on a shot, so it's the same shooting as a stand-up, it's a one-handed shot, it's a straight elbow, and it's a little flick at the top. Now that's broken down into about 3 phases that create the shot, and really once you nail those 3 phases down, you'll start becoming more and more accurate. If I'm not being twisted and fouled by my fellow men, I'm a 2-handed shooter, obviously. So you do the one hand and you've got your guide hand over here. Sometimes though, because people are moving me, I have to hold my chair still. So I'll just focus with one hand, the guys are banging me around a little bit, and I'll just shoot with one hand. So it really depends on the contact, but basically, really you want to shoot with 2 hands, because you've got your guide hand here on the left, you've got your main hand, and you must flick that last bit to get that backspin. I wish Travis was here today. He's got the biggest backspin on any shot that I know in any. Chair setup is an individual thing, and it takes time. You will never start off with the way you set up a chair at the beginning of your career. As you get better and you get more skilled, you want the chair to turn more, you want it to be a little bit more. This chair here has taken me pretty much about 10 years of playing with adjustable chairs to get it to a point where I feel like it just does everything I want. So it's a real individual thing, but there's some basics to the setups, like the camber that we use. We generally use like 18 degrees camber. That sort of gives us a really good turn without losing too much of our function and without making it too wide. But it's a very individual thing, and like I said, as you get better in your sport, as you get faster, more confident, you will want that setup to change. Thanks for watching Really Good Tips this week. I hope if you ever get a chance to just give your local parafit a call, look up on wheelchair basketball on Google and go down and give it a go. And if you're in Canterbury, you can give me a call or catch up with Mike and he'll give you the number and pass it on.